I tell every single person I talk to, they're like, oh, I'm a glassblower. And then you'd be surprised, like, oh, that's exactly what I need. I've been looking for someone like you. 2B Glass stands for either two brothers or two Bezdeks, because our last name is Bezdeks. You need another person to blow glass with. And to start off blowing glass, if you have to hire somebody, it gets expensive quick. Because you have to pay them by an hour, and then if you want someone that's actually good at blowing glass, you know, you're paying 25 to 40 bucks an hour for you to potentially just fail for 8 hours. And then since we were similar skill level, and then we both had a passion for it, and then we continued and opened our own studio together. I think me and my brother have been selling our glass for probably 5 years, like seriously. But we've only had our own studio for about 3 years. We push ourselves to get better, but we have our own skills. We aren't good at different things. We do that kind of on purpose, because if I have to be good at everything, then we're not going to be great at anything. Owning your own glass studio is a huge accomplishment with the amount of equipment that you need and the permitting processes and all the jazz that you need in the warehouse space and the blank and everything in between. We will make anywhere from 20 to 220 things in a day, when the common person might make 5 to 10 things in once a month. Tate is what you call a finisher. He does all the stuff that makes it all look pretty, and I'm the shaper of the mold blower. So I make it the general shape, but not make it super pretty, but get it 85% there, and then I give it to Tate, and then he finishes it. Short, simplified version of making a cup, or really anything, is you gather glass out of a giant pot of glass, which is in a furnace, and that sits at 2,100 degrees. And then you put any color or anything you want on top of it, and then you put a bubble in it, just like blowing up a balloon. You just basically start it. It's called a starter bubble. We'll put more glass on top of it, so that means I'll gather more glass. As you get bigger, things get a little bit more challenging, but in the simplified version, through a series of blowing and swaying and preheating and doing a bunch of other stuff, you end up with a cup or whatever else you're making. In the very, very simplified version, there's hundreds of steps to just do the simplest things in glass blowing. I don't consider it an art form. Yes, and some people are true artists, but I consider myself more of a craftsman, because I seek perfection, and we make the same thing essentially over and over and over again. So that's what we're trying to get. Rather than, I don't just make one thing and call it good. I'm gonna make 3,000 of that one thing and be like, all right, my 3,000 first. All right, that was the first good one I made, compared to everything else before. It wasn't really considered art until fairly recently in my mind, because for the last 3,000 years, it was just a blue collar thing that you did. And it still is in many parts of the world. It's kind of like being a dumpster or a truck driver, or like a garbage truck driver. Same thing. I basically say this about everything. I wish I started earlier, if that kind of makes sense. Is because the fear of you actually quitting your job to becoming your self-employed employee is like the scariest thing on the face of the planet, because you just go, what if no one buys anything? And then I'm gonna be broke. But the sooner you can get to that point, is the faster you have a successful business.